So I wanted to speak about one of the prelim fights, which was a flyweight bout between Edgar Chairez and Daniel Lacerda. This was really weird. So it went to a no contest, but originally Chris Tyone, who has been known to stop fights really early, he was the same ref who stopped that Fernando Padilla versus Julian Erosa fight. He's done a few fights. Seems like a nice guy, but I think he's a bit too nice for refereeing because he's always the guy who does these early stoppages. But this was a really weird case. I really don't know. I feel like a no contest is really fair, but like there was a few things that Chris Tyone could have done to avoid all of this. Like Chris Tyone could have like grabbed at his arm a little bit, felt if he was limp, like made sure he was still there, but instead he just quickly jumped in there as soon as he seen his arm drop. Now, that arm drop was very sus, though. The way his arm drop did look like he was out, but it seemed like I don't know. It's a weird one. Like I'm not going to hate on Chris Tyone for this one. Like he does do a lot of early stoppages, but in this case, I can sort of understand it. But there were a few things that Tyone could have done to make sure that this wasn't an early stoppage. But yeah, it's a real weird one because the way his arm drop did make it look like he was limp, but I don't even think Tyone went and checked his arm. Like normally you'd see a ref like grab the arm and see if it's limp or not. So that was definitely very weird there that he didn't do that. I don't know. Refereeing is definitely a tricky job, but this reminds me a lot of the Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler situation. Like his arm dropped, but was he out? I don't think so. I personally, I think I think Laredo might have been on the verge of going out, or maybe he was playing possum. But still, if you play possum that way, that's pretty stupid. It's not like getting rocked and you can play possum and you can get someone to come in aggressively. So actually, I think he probably was out. Maybe not fully out, but he was on the way out. I think Tyone should have just let it go a little longer. Just made sure he was properly out though, because maybe Laredo just came to straight away because he didn't look out. He jumped straight up as soon as Tyone stopped it. So I don't know. It's a weird one. I'd say it's 50-50. I'd say he was on his way out, but I don't think he was fully out. But even then, though, anaconda chokes, you can't really finish them from that position. If anyone's ever done an anaconda choke, it's really hard to get it from that position. That was a really weird one. I don't know. Maybe I've got to rewatch the fight again. Yeah, this was a couple hours ago. Maybe I'm remembering this all wrong, but it was still definitely very weird. I feel like Chris Tyone, he needs to like I'm not saying he needs to turn into fucking Mario Yamasaki or Steve Mazzagatti or any of them. I'm not saying he needs to go full. I'm letting him be a warrior, but like I think he needs to be a little less cautious because he's always jumping in way too early. He needs to let the fight play out a little bit more. Like obviously, if he's like fucking out with like for like a minute and you don't stop it, then yeah. But if you let him fucking get choked for like 10 seconds or 5 seconds longer, I don't think it's gonna hurt. So maybe just let's see how it plays out a little bit more. Don't just immediately jump in. At least check his arms or something. But yeah, I don't know how to properly assess this one. But yeah, I don't know. I've had different thoughts about this stoppage. I went from thinking it was really bad to thinking it was stupid, going back from thinking it was on a good stoppage to thinking no, it wasn't. So I can understand where he's coming from. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be here to shit on Chris Tyone completely, but there was definitely a few things he could have done here to make it a little bit better for himself. Instead, he's just gone in there and he looks like a fucking uh, yeah, he just looks like he looks like he didn't want to let him fight his way out. He just made it a lot more controversial than it had to have been. Like if he waited a little bit longer, there wouldn't have been any controversy. But yeah, still hard job to have. But Daniel Laredo has the weirdest record in UFC history. He's 0-4-0-1 now. Four losses, one no contest. I'm sure he's going to get another fight now because technically he didn't lose, and I think he signed a 4-fight contract. So yeah, interesting times ahead for Daniel Laredo. I don't think they should run this one back though. I don't think there's any point to run this one back. Just let them fight different people. Don't be running back this fight. It wasn't the most exciting fight for how long it lasted. So yeah, just do something else. Whenever they run these fights back that shouldn't be run back, it always turns into like just yeah, it always turns out to be worse. There's normally no point. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll run it back, but normally, like, look at Eric Anders when he fought Derek Stewart. The first fight was really fun and exciting. Then they ran it back, and it was the most boring fight. Whenever they run these fights back, it's typically boring. Austin Lane versus Justin Tuff is different, but that was literally the first one went for 16 seconds. This fight actually went for a decently long time, and it wasn't the best fight. So, just have these guys fight somebody else. There's no point running it back. It wasn't a great fight, so yeah, we'll see what they do for Daniel De Silva, Daniel Lacerda, whatever Davey's going for. I imagine he's going to get another fight though, but I guess we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.